welcome to Close the Room Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Lenora, joined by my wonderful, amazing, sexy, fine, lover husband.
Michael, aka Mike, BKA Mikey. What up, y'all?
What up, what up, what up? We are so glad to be here. This is the very first, the premiere, the inaugural episode
Numero uno.
of our podcast that we've been trying to start for about 22 years.
It's okay. hey. If at first you don't succeed, you just keep trying
And that's
trying
what we've
again.
been doing, to be perfectly honest. We've been trying and trying and trying again. We have run into
Yeah.
many obstacles, but nonetheless, we are crossing our fingers, our toes, and all the things that this is it. And we can finally get this started and we can start coming into your ears and onto your screens weekly with, whatever we want to talk about. What are we going to talk about, honey?
Some of everything. We're gonna talk about marriage. We're gonna talk about life. We're gonna talk about love. We're gonna talk about current events. We're gonna talk about anything that comes to mind.
Parenting and kids.
I think that is definitely gonna be because we need help, y'all.
Yeah, we do. So welcome. A little tidbit of background. We'll get into more of it later, but we are married. We have been married for 14 years. We've been together for 20 years, and we have 4 children.
Quattro.
Are we having any more?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so welcome. We welcome comments and suggestions and all the things for this podcast is for y'all. You know what I mean? We've been wanting to do this for a long time, like we said, and just we're excited about it. But we do want some feedback to let us know what y'all like, what y'all don't like, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like we said before, this has been a long time coming, but we are glad to be here now. Glad to have y'all here. First topic we'll get into is that I just had a birthday and I turned 40.
The big 40. Look at my fine dime wine sitting over there. Yeah.
My birthday was May 31st. I am an 80s baby born in 1984. And yeah, I was so excited to turn 40. I don't know why. I don't know. I just feel like 40 is like a real adult age. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, I felt like 22 was a real adult age.
22. Hell, what were we doing
Actually,
at
you know what?
22?
Take that back. I realized that 26 was the real adult age.
That's a real random number or age.
That's when you can start renting cars without having to get no credit card. Or
Interesting.
maybe that was back in the day. They don't do that no more.
No, I thought first of all that was 25. Second of all, that's a really random thing to be like, oh,
Right off the
now I'm
top of the dome.
adulting.
Right off the top of the dome.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, we've been in this game for a long time, this relationship for a long time. So I felt like an adult for a long time. But I don't know. 40 just felt like I
Like
don't
you
know.
old?
Yes and no, right? Because
40 is not old.
well, that's the thing. So when we were younger,
40 was old.
Case in point, when we were younger, 40 was old. I remember vividly seeing like Over the Hill Balloons, over the thing, like it was like all the rage. It was like a whole thing. And now I'm like,
I mean, but look at how they looked and dressed at the age of 40.
Times have changed.
Then versus how we look and dress at the age of 40. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
true. Yeah. Anywho, no, I don't feel
we
old
ain't
either.
old.
I don't feel old. Glad to be here. Glad to be 40. For reference, he's 41. He's a year older than I am.
We ain't old.
And just excited to be 40 in this 4th decade of life and hoping that things will just be different and new and better and all the things. So
what you drinking on?
What am I drinking? I don't know. You tell me. You made it.
Oh,
what is this?
That is a strawberry daiquiri. Those little dollar strawberry daiquiris that's in Walmart.
They might be elsewhere too.
Yeah, but they're the little small little strawberry daiquiris, and I added a little bit of Malibu inside of it. Added some strawberries inside of it too. To give it a little.
He trying to be fancy, y'all.
You can't really see the strawberries, but they there.
It was a gift from my grandmother. It says limited edition 1984 vintage, aged to perfection. So this is my new preferred drinking cup.
Yeah, this is
Speak
this is my preferred drinking cup. It's the same Remy cup that I drink, but unfortunately, I don't have any more Remy. If you can look behind us, you can kind of see that all of my Remy bottles are empty, and that's not by happenstance. I like Remy, and if it's on the shelf, then it's gonna get drank. So I had to deal with a little bit of red wine. I am mellowed out tonight.
mellowed out, as you calling
Yeah,
it.
with a red, with a nice, soothe, succulent red wine that give you just a nice little kick, right in the throat, as opposed to that Remy that be like, yeah, we here.
Okay. But yeah, so that's what we're drinking on tonight. We invite you all to grab a drink with us. Um,
Sit back, kick back, and relax.
That's right, and chat with us. So that's our drink tonight. Also, we want to talk about we're gonna have a song of the week. Also, if you follow us on Instagram, you know that we do our club living room dances. That's kind of where the whole club living room thing started.
Hmm.
And so we have a song for the week, and our song for this week is Lauryn Hill. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, which is a beautiful, amazing song. Um, so yeah, so that's our song of the week.
So, Sister Egg 2. Sister Egg 2 is 30 years old, right? Here's the question, right? Did Lauryn Hill be elevated by Sister Act 2, or was Lauryn Hill already something? This is a question that we had
Oh, it wasn't a question that we had.
and I told her that Lauryn Hill was
Back up, back up. So there was a reunion on The View, and I was like, Lauryn Hill was not there. Everybody saw Lauryn Hill. Anybody that saw it, Lauryn Hill was not there, and she was the star of the movie, one of the stars of the movie. So her not
but
being
Lauryn
there,
Hill gonna do
not a woman like that,
Lauryn.
but her not being there was evident, right? And it was like strange because again, she was one of the main stars of the movie, main characters. And I said, we're in the car, and I said, it's strange that she wasn't there because we would not really know who Lauryn Hill was without Sister Act 2. And he was like, no, that's not true.
What?
She was in the
I no 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 no
Fugees.
no no.
And
Don't just run right through that.
no, that's what you
I
said.
want you to say that again. Say that phrase again. That
I
we
said we would not really know who Lauryn Hill was or is if it had not been for Sister Act 2 and things that,
pause,
okay,
pause right there. We would have not known who Lauryn Hill was if it wasn't for Sister Act 2. So in her mind, she believes that Lauryn Hill was basically trying out as an actress and decided, you know what? I'm gonna
no,
give this music thing a shot.
I didn't say that necessarily, but what I'm saying is
That's what you're
that
implying.
no, that's not what I'm
Yeah,
implying.
it is.
And but what I can prove to you is that we looked up when the Fugees' first album came out, and did it
Okay.
or did it not come out after
That does
Sister Act 2?
that just because the album came out, which is what I explained to her, just
Hmm.
because the album came out after the movie, they already had singles already out.
So we know that the Sister Act 2 movie came out in 2004. Excuse me, 1994.
1994.
We know that. The very first Fugees album, I'm on Apple Music right now, okay? So you can see there's Apple Music. The very first Fuji album was Blunted on Reality, which came out in 1994, okay?
That does not mean they did not have a single.
Came out in February 1st, 1994. The
That's the whole
movie,
album.
the movie Sister Act 2. Hold
Oh
on.
my gosh. The whole Fuji's album came out in 94. When did Sister
I'm
Act?
sorry, Sister Act 2 premiered in 1993.
Okay. So, what
Okay.
so anybody who knows music knows that you don't just put out your album like
That's besides the point
that's the
though.
first thing that
But
comes
you don't
out.
think they was working on a movie beforehand? You think they worked on a movie and they released it a month later?
I think that the Fugees released a lot of smaller singles before Sister Act 2, which is where she
Mm-hmm.
got her notoriety from. Now, it may have may have in who she was, but it
I'm
wasn't
trying to
the
look for the
starting point.
I'm trying to look for the exact date.
Oh my gosh,
Exact.
this conversation was like so. That's because her favorite movie is Sister Act 2, and I get it. I understand you want to ride with your Sister Act 2 movie, but at the end of the day, Lauryn Hill was a member of the Fugees, and they were putting out bangers prior to that movie even becoming. That's
This
why they chose her.
December 10th, 1993.
Was
Okay.
Sister Act 2's
So the Fugees may very well have had a couple of singles
correct?
before then. But again,
Correct.
their first album didn't come out until February 1994.
Dismissing the point.
Therefore, and you don't think they was working on this movie before December? Like they
It-
probably was working on this movie at the beginning of 1993,
no,
which means before the
no.
Fugees came out. What they did
First,
this?
first of all, back then movies they'd make a movie in 3 months and be done with
How do you know that?
it.
That is based on zero
All
facts.
I'm saying is your statement is factually incorrect, and I want y'all to comment on this one. Did Lauryn
What
Hill
came first, chicken or
what
the egg? Lauryn Hill is or Sister.
did the Fugees? I mean,
You lost your
this
train of
is
thought.
just a just did Sister Act 2 launch Lauryn Hill's career? My God,
Yes,
this
it
is
did.
ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
This is a ridiculous.
It's not
This is
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Anyway,
That's not ridiculous. Anyway, what else did you want to talk about?
um,
You had something on your TikTok or something you wanted
oh
to bring up.
yeah. So I saw this message that was posted on Twitter, because it's still Twitter, and it don't matter who calls it, whomever bought it, it's still gonna be Twitter. And I wanted to pose this question to Kiera D. Perkins, right? So this is what she said. She stated, "I've had 2 divorces. Real relationship success is not about the butterflies or romance. Instead, it's about how well you manage conflict and nurture your union and commitment." Okay, go
I
ahead. I'm sorry.
agree and disagree with that one. I think that it can both be about the butterflies and about what you say commitment.
Yeah.
I think it can be both.
She said real relationship success is not about the butterflies or romance. Instead, it's about how well you manage conflict and nurture your union and
And I
commitment.
think what she's saying is you can be all in love and all that, but if you cannot get through the hard days and the hard times,
Mm-hmm.
then your relationship will not last. And I think that, experience is the best teacher. And so once you go through a relationship with someone and you go through conflict with someone, and um, that gives you the experience you need to figure it out. Well, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do this in this relationship because this happened in my past relationship.
So how do you bridge that gap into whether or not you're being that that savior from that inner hell that individual is going through versus the experiences that they've had and they've overcome.
I think you don't know until you know, because
Mm.
every person's different, every relationship is different,
Mm.
and you could do one thing for one person, do the same thing for somebody else, and it's received totally differently. So I think it all varies. There's no blanket, this works or this doesn't work. We're all different.
Hmm. We're all different.
Hmm.
Our relationships are different,
Yep.
and the great thing is you can define what kind of relationship you choose to have,
Very true.
and utilizing your experiences from past or previous relationships should definitely give you some sort of guideline to allow you to shape the type of relationship that you want to have in the future, and hopefully your partner that you're trying to you know build something with
Hmm.
is open enough to be able to do the same.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Thanks,
Once
Miss Kiera. We
and
appreciate it.
we forgot to mention that we're gonna be doing like different segments or whatever.
Right.
That one that's we're calling free before 11.
Free
Free
before
before 11.
11.
If you've ever been to a club, you know it's free before 11, free before 12, or free before 10, free before 10, free before 11 usually.
Free before 12. All depends on the city that you're in.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. Anyways,
Yeah.
so free before 11. So we'll be talking about random topics. He brought up the topic this week. So anyway, moving on. We're gonna do a quick segment called Kids Club.
Kids Club.
We do have four children. We have two girls. We have two
And we
boys.
need help.
And we are very grateful for
Absolutely.
our children. We always,
Absolutely.
when we wanted to have a big family, we wanted to have four or five kids. Four is the stopping
That's the
point.
stopping point. You know what I'm saying? Because when
um,
they outnumber you, we were outnumbered a long time ago. Once they outnumber you, you know what I mean? It's time to put your dukes up.
yes. And for
Yeah.
those wondering, we are locked and loaded. The vasectomy has been had.
Yeah.
It's just, we're done.
Yeah. And I
And we will
ain't
not be reversing.
yeah,
We will
yeah.
not be doing
Not
that.
not 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 ashamed. I'm done populating the earth,
Yep.
and you know what? I've done my part. I've done my part for society. I've created four wonderful. Well, I assisted in the creation of four wonderful human beings, and hopefully, you know what, they can do their part
Yep.
in building a society that's worth living in. Cause and there ain't no more coming for me.
No.
So yeah.
So our kids' ages, our oldest is 11, and then we have 9, 7, and 4.
Four.
Excuse me. So our girls are older, our boys are younger. And I mean it's great. It's fun because the girls can do girly stuff and go together. Boys can do boy stuff and go together. They can have boy time, we can have girl time, and it's great. We are happy with the family that we have, and no, we're not happy anymore. As much as we are in love, as much as we have a lot of passion in our relationship and all the things, it's just we're done. We're done. We're done.
Mm.
So, anyways, from time to time we'll be telling funny stories or whatever. We'll be talking about the kids a little bit.
And
So
trying to
you'll
get
get
y'all
to
feedback on certain situations that these kids come up with, because you know what, we ain't got all the answers,
no.
and there are no books, there are no manuals that tell you how to answer certain questions when they arise from your kids. And ultimately, I think we all in this together, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not for the
They,
weak.
yeah, they often say like it takes a village, and right now, y'all gonna be our
I
village.
was getting over that. My grandmother lives nearby, and she's helpful when she can be, but she can't always be. So it's really just us and these 4 kids, and we be stressing. But anyway, oftentimes we'll write down like really funny stuff they did. So I try not to take my kids to the store because they just are rowdy. Even today,
You-
I took the girls to the store, and I always tell my kids the store is not the playground. I don't know what they hear when I say that, but they continue to run around and scream and do all the things. And I was torn today because the girls were like they were playing together in the store, and sometimes they argue. They're siblings, they're sisters. So I was like, okay, they're getting along, they're playing, that's great. But also at the same time, I was like, please stop moving, please stop moving. So I told him, I was like, thank you for joining me in the store, ladies. Our oldest was like, you're welcome, even though you hated every second of it. Like she knew. She was like, I know you're being sarcastic because I don't understand why they just won't just stand
but
and be
but here's
or
the thing, right? Like it's such a relief to go to the store without your kids.
oh I
It's
mean,
like,
I go most of the
you
time without them.
know, it's you don't need that extra loaf of bread, right? Because you already got two breads in there. You got
It's not
one
even
bread
it's not
in
even
the
about
freezer.
that. They don't want loaf of bread.
I
They
I,
want
I
the
get it,
snacks, and they
right?
want they want to
And
touch everything. They
and
want to see everything. And what I
right,
do is I do not. I'm so glad that like we have a Walmart that's very close to us. I'm so glad that the toy section is all the
all the
way
way in
in
the
the
back.
back of food. So
We ain't even got to go.
we
We
do
ain't got
not go
it.
over there, so they don't be like,
We don't
"Oh, I
go
want
there.
that, I want that, I want
Yeah,
that," because we're not getting it.
you know
We're not
what?
getting it.
And it's like, as much as I love, and believe me, y'all, I don't want y'all to get the wrong impression. I love my kids. I love my children. But taking them to the store is like
No.
it's it's like, I feel like it's torture. right?
For everybody involved.
For everybody involved. Because, when you go to the store, like, and if you don't have children, right? And you go to the store and you see other people with their kids in the store, and you often I remember, before we had kids, right? We would go to the store or something like that, and we'd see other people kids and they be acting a fool. You'd be like,
It won't be my
man, I ain't
kids.
gonna never have my kids up here acting like that.
And here we are.
And wondering, like, where do we go wrong? Like,
Um,
so, it's a relief to be like, you know what, I'm going to the store, and guess what? Nope, y'all ain't going.
yeah, we usually don't take them. I usually go to the store. He does not go to the store as often as I do. So generally, I go by myself. By
Listen,
myself.
that's
So
fine. That's fine. But when she goes by herself, I'll keep the kids here. And if I need to go to the store, guess what? She go keep the kids here. You know what?
every now
It's
and again we
just,
take them
yeah,
out
every
together.
now and
We,
then,
we like to we like to test the water,
you
see
know,
see if
you
they're gonna be
know,
better the next
to,
time. But they usually aren't.
yeah, it just doesn't. It never works out. It never
No,
seems to work out.
no,
But
it doesn't. But
so
yeah, so yeah, that's we'll be talking about our kids a little bit. So you'll hear more about them in future episodes. All
right.
right, let's get to what we really came here to talk about, which is we're calling the cover charge. Again, it's all about club stuff, right? If you've been to a club. So our cover charge, cover story, if you will, whatever you want to call it, is just a story of us. You want me to
The
start?
story of us.
You want me to start?
Absolutely, honey. Let's
Okay.
see this forgery that you're about to come up with.
I haven't
Let's
even
go.
told my story until it's for you.
Hmm.
So we met in college, my freshman fall year, very first semester. We met. We had a class together. What was the class?
SPC
SPC
2600.
2600. Okay, and it was a speech class, and the very, very, very first day of class, this young man who was 19 at the time
I was 19 at the time.
walked into the classroom, and I
I was
said,
wicked out.
mm, I meant he had plaits. Um,
I think I
I,
was braided at the time.
one of the two.
Yeah.
He walked into the class, and I said, "Oh, okay."
Pause right there.
No, I'm not gonna pause. Nope, let me finish.
Go ahead.
And that very first day,
Mm-hmm.
the teacher said she wanted us to partner up and do introduction speeches. So he was partnered with a friend of mine at the time, some guy, I don't even remember his name. And I said, hey, it
Steven.
was not Steven. We don't know anybody named Steven.
Okay. I thought that's what it was. It didn't matter anyway. I can't remember. It was 20 years ago.
Anyways, so I said, hey, hook me up with your boy. And he was like, no, hook yourself up. I said, okay, fine. So some time passed, and I ended up asking him to help me with a speech. I didn't need the help.
She
Okay.
didn't need the
I
help.
did not need the help.
So
Okay. I didn't need the help. I asked him to help me with the speech.
go
Didn't need the
ahead.
help. But I was just my way of being shooting my shot, if you will.
Go
Right.
ahead.
So I asked him to help me with the speech.
Mm-hmm.
Asked him to come to, I guess, to my apartment or whatever. I don't know if we were gonna meet up somewhere. Anyway, he never helped me. Long story short. So then I was like,
Because she said she ain't need the help.
I didn't tell you
I
that.
can see right through. I was a top grade A student. I can see right through the fluff.
So then I said, I'm dancing in this show. Can you come and see me
No
dance?
doubt.
And he was like, okay.
No
I
doubt.
gave him a ticket. I
No
think, or
doubt.
you bought a ticket. I don't know,
I
whatever.
bought a ticket.
Anyway, he never showed up.
So basically, what she's basically saying is, I just threw a college student. I just threw away money.
Here's how I know he never showed up. I never saw him. He never came afterwards. He never said anything to me afterwards to be like, you were great. I saw you in that dance when you wore this and you did that and it was good.
Was I supposed to?
You go to somebody's show, you be like, good job. Something. Pat on the back, something.
I bought the ticket. I went to the show. Saw the show.
Anyways, so I was like, all right. So it was the end of the semester, and I believed I needed to ride home. So I think maybe it was raining, or maybe I just didn't feel like walking. I don't know.
It
Again,
was raining.
He gave me a ride home. And he said that was the moment he knew that I really liked him because I just talked and talked and talked, right? On the what, 10 minute? It was
It
like
was
10
like
minutes.
10 minutes
It was like the 10 minute
to your
ride home.
apartment. Yeah.
So I think it must have been the next semester when you came over. In the
Guys,
next
you're
semester,
missing so many things.
what am I missing?
She would go on this tangent about how it was love at first sight.
Oh, I forgot to mention that.
The
It
first
was love at
time,
first sight.
the first time she saw me, it was love at
It
first
was.
sight. Mind you, right?
Look
Mind
at you.
you, she. I'm about to lay out. I'm about to lay out the fallacies in her art in her, dissertation that she just went through. Number one, she didn't like people that was from Miami. That's number
I
one.
didn't know you were from Miami.
Okay. She didn't like people that had braids.
I was not my preference, but it looked good on you though.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Guys, okay. And girls. All right. She didn't like people who were on the shorter end of the spectrum.
You
I ain't trying to say I'm short, but I'm not the biggest guy.
not tall.
I'm not tall,
Okay,
right?
but also I can't date anybody super tall. That would be weird. And it'd be
But that's what
difficult.
you used to date.
First of all, I didn't really date. There was one guy who was maybe 6 feet. Maybe.
I ain't 6 feet.
Anyways, dating is really
I do.
that was in high school and under. That don't
Okay,
even count.
whether okay, whatever. Well, it doesn't matter what The fact of the matter is, you said it was love at first sight. On and the last and the most important part is she was more attracted to dudes who were on the lighter scale.
You are lighter scale.
I am not.
I don't think you are then. But
I am
other,
not.
other people say
So,
that
wait. So she didn't like people from Miami. She didn't like people that wore braids. She didn't like people that were on the shorter end of the spectrum, and she didn't like people who were on the darker end of the spectrum.
you mean lighter. Yeah. Anyways, well, darker, whatever.
Correct. So, out of these four
Wait.
traits that you could, these physical traits that you have brought up, right? How can it have been love at first sight when the first four things that I just said is what represents who I was?
Let me ask you this: Who approached who?
That has nothing to
No, I
do.
didn't hear the answer.
No.
Who approached who?
You approached me because I
Okay, wait a
sat in
minute.
the front of the I sat in the front of the class. So I sat in the front of the class. So therefore you had to have approached
Who
me.
approached who? Which means who was the
I
original
I
attractor
I
to the
was
attractee?
I was going to school to get my education. Public speaking was one of the classes that I needed to pass, and therefore I sat in the front.
He
I was
believes.
not I was not trying to court anybody at that time.
He
I was
believes
focused on my
because
studies because that's what I went to school for. That's why my daddy sent me to the school that sits on the highest of seven hills.
that's because I had a type that I was mainly attracted to,
Correct.
that I could not be attracted to anybody else.
Nope, that ain't what I said.
No,
That
that
ain't
is
what I
what you're saying.
said.
You're
No,
like, oh,
what I am.
and the whole
Nope.
Miami thing. Again, it was the first day of school. I didn't know that I didn't like people from Miami at the time. Okay, I didn't know.
No.
Okay.
What you
Also,
no.
also,
You said it was
B.
love at
It
first.
was. I saw you. I saw you in the classroom that very first day, and I said, "Oh my God, look
She is
at
such
this
she
specimen.
is she
This,
is
this love. This just fineness."
by the way,
But why don't you accept that though?
why
Like real
don't you
talk,
accept that I went to your show?
because you didn't. Real,
There you go. There you go.
real
We
talk.
can we can agree to
Wait,
disagree.
why
Okay.
don't you accept the fact that I was instantly attracted to you and it was love at first
Because you
sight?
wasn't. Because you wasn't.
Is it you don't think that you're attractive?
Come
But I'm saying though.
Come on.
So
Come on.
So,
That's the least of my worries.
okay.
Not to toot
Okay.
my own horn, Anyway,
So, what I'm saying is, so why is it so unbelievable that I could have
because I
saw
know
you?
I know your type.
No, no, no.
I know your type.
Obviously, you are my type.
You say that no, I'm your type now because
20
we
years.
no,
20 years. You've
yeah,
been my type for
now,
20 years.
but then I wasn't. Nonetheless, you want to continue in
You
the
obviously
story?
were because again, I'm gonna say it again. Who approached who?
Okay, that's great. Keep going.
Fast forward. Next semester comes and I invite him over to watch a movie. Okay. Or maybe invite him to I don't know. I don't know how we got there. He came to my apartment. We watched a movie. What was the name of the movie? A
Thin
Thin Line
line
Between
between
Love
love
and
and
Hate.
hate. One time for the dog, Martin Lawrence.
So we watched A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. And as we were watching the movie, I
Hmm.
may or may not have
Here we go with the
fallen
fabrications
asleep.
again. Here's the fabrication.
I didn't say I
Just
didn't
go ahead and
fabricate
say that
anything.
you fell
I
asleep,
said I but I don't I said I may or may not have fallen asleep.
but you did.
Maybe I didn't. Nonetheless, why don't you tell me what you did? Don't worry
So,
about what I did.
so after she fell asleep halfway through the movie, you know what I did, y'all? I watched the movie by myself in her room while she slept and snored the entire time. So,
I don't snore.
fellas, let me ask you this question. One of the things that is a pet peeve of mine is somebody
Obviously
who
not.
snores.
Obviously not.
And again, it goes back to my point. It's not now, but at that point in time, if you snored, mm-mm, deal breaker. See you when I see you. Holla at your boy. And she snored. Can y'all deal with somebody that snore? I mean, I ain't
There's
talking.
lots of people who
I ain't
snore, and
yeah,
I'm not
but
one of them.
I ain't talking.
But
I ain't no. I ain't talking about that little. You know, I'm talking about that. That long, that that real snore. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what we had to deal with.
number one, I don't snore. Number two, you're very shallow. Number three, continue on with the story. What happened after I allegedly snored and
After
you continued to watch the movie by yourself?
I watched A Thin Line Between Love and Hate because I had mad respect for Martin. That was my dude at the time. You know what? I didn't want to walk out on my dog, even though we were just watching the VHS. But you know what? I wanted to finish the movie because that's a good movie. You know what I'm saying?
It
Like
is a good
it,
movie.
yeah, it's a really good movie. And you know what? I said, hey, the movie's over. I'm about to head to the Crizo. So I'll holler at you. That was it.
I mean, what happened after that?
Nothing. Literally nothing. I decided, I made the conscious decision to say, you know what, snoring is not a part of the lifestyle that I want to live. So
The lifestyle you wanted to live.
yeah, so we're just gonna move on. You know what I mean? You know, we're all exploring at that time. We college students, so
Okay, keep going. What happened after that?
I mean, you want to go now? We at the end of the semester.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, so I ain't talked to her. I ain't sending no. I mean, at that time, like
we
texting.
weren't texting.
Yeah, we weren't really
Nobody was
nobody
texting at
was
the
texting
time.
like that. So you know what I mean? Like hey,
He just ghosted me, and I was like, I mean, oh well,
you
it's
know,
what it is.
she went her way, I went mine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Mhm.
So end of the semester comes, and yeah, like we end up connecting again at a club. Just there's plenty of clubs in the city that we went to school in, and that night we just so happens to run into each other as both of us were leaving at the same time. and I was like, "Hey, what's good, man? I ain't seen you in a long time. How's everything? How's life? How's the family? You know?" And yeah, she told me that she was headed back to her hometown for the summer. And I was like, "Oh, well, hit your boy up when you're free." I ain't think nothing of it. It was alcohol talking. You know what I'm saying? Hit your boy up. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, whether or not she did it or not, it is
You were
what it
just
is.
saying just to say it.
Yeah, it was like, hey, go ahead, hit your boy up. You never know. Well, what did you do?
So yeah, so he told me to call me. He told me to call him when I got back home for the summer, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I ended up calling him one of those days,
Ooh,
and we just started talking, and we
every
just
day.
we just couldn't stop
We talked every night
every night.
over the summer. And
We did.
if you don't know, I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but back then, 20 plus years ago, when you was in college, those summer months, your financial aid check ain't really there. So you basically just like working to pay your bills or working to pay your rent.
I'm low key sad that we don't have any of that like recorded because I don't know what we talked about. I mean, I guess we were just getting to know each other. You know what I mean, the
Yeah,
basics or whatever. But yeah, we ended up talking
every
pretty much
single night.
every night.
Every single
I
night.
was working at Forever 21 in the mall, and I would call him when I got off, which was like 10, 11 o'clock. And I would call him and on my way home, and then we'd talk when I got home. We'd watch
Midnight
Midnight Love
Love.
together.
Yeah, I remember Midnight Love, BET's Midnight Love. That was that joint, you know what I'm saying? Like Midnight Love would come on and it would just kind of like
Mhm.
it would help set the mood for our conversation. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And we would just sit and we would talk. We would talk. And I remember being incredibly anxious to get back to Tallahassee and see him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it had been 2 months or around 2 months again, because I don't know. I didn't call him, immediately the first day I got there, but it had been around 2 months that we had just been talking nonstop every day, like
Mm-hmm.
communicating and getting to know one another. And I was like, man, I remember telling my roommate at the time, I was like, I don't know, I think I might have something here. I met this guy, whatever. But yeah, we just
But you know what, hun? I wonder. Like, obviously, we didn't have FaceTime
yeah.
or anything like that. Like given the level in the access that somebody can have to somebody else, via FaceTime
Mhm.
or all of these social media platforms, DMs or whatever the case may be, whether or not something like that really can happen nowadays in which you don't really see somebody for months on end and
Yeah, I mean, I
then
think it'd be almost easier, if you will, because you have so many other forms of communication. I mean, at the time we had AIM and email or whatever. We
right,
weren't using that. We were just
right,
calling, and we weren't even texting at the
right.
time. I don't think texting. I don't think anybody was texting.
It was
Well, I don't
like
know
it
what other
was it
people
was
doing,
like free
but
night. We were still on the
oh yeah,
like free nights and we
right. Again, we had to work, and then that's what we were talking was
yeah,
nights and weekends. And yeah, I mean, I think it'd be easier now to have a long distance relationship or whatever
right,
because you can
yeah,
FaceTime, because you can just communicate in all these different ways. You can text all day or whatever. And say we only talked at night. We only talked at night after work. That was
so
it.
so let me ask you, so do you think the expectations are different now, access to your significant other or whomever you're trying to connect with is basically at your fingertips. Like I can go on Instagram and see, you know what I'm saying, or I can go on any one of these social media platforms. And if you've liked a post, if you've made a post or made a story or made a reel or created a reel or something like that, like I'm already gonna know, like, oh, she got a phone, so she should be able to respond if I send her a doggone message.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true in any relationship, not just. intimate relationships
Yeah.
that if you call a friend or family member, whatever, and they don't respond, but you see they active on Facebook, then you like, nigga, I know you
I
saying that, but
know.
I know you got your phone. I know you got your phone.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So I think that's true in any case. But I think for us it was great because that's all we had was the
Yeah.
phone. That's all we had was those conversations. And it really allowed us to get to know one another on an intimate and a deep level. And like I said, I was really, really anxious to go back to school and see him
Yeah.
because I just knew I was like, all right, we got something here.
Yeah. So it
We
was
got
something that,
something here.
and you remember that our our song that would always come on during that time.
Yeah, signs of
Signs
love
of
making.
Love making by Tyrese. Shout out to Tyrese for throwing out that banger in whatever year it
It
was.
came on Midnight Love every night.
Every
Well, it had
single
to have
night.
been what I graduated in 2002, so
Had to be
2002. It's at 2003.
2003.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2003. And Tyrese had that banger, Signs of Love Making. And I
hmm
know I know everybody remember that song. And
yeah,
that song would come on every night too during
yeah.
Midnight Love. And you know what? It actually was kind of like the send off, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the night, where it was like, all right, it's getting to be 1 o'clock or whatever the case may be, about to shut it down type of thing, and you send off with Signs of Love Making. But shout out to Tyrese, man.
Yeah, that song would
Goodness.
come on every night. So that's one of our songs, if you
Yeah.
will, that we still listen to in certain
Set
moments.
the thing up. Yeah.
But yeah, so after that we went back to I went back to school because you stayed there last year.
Yeah.
So I went back and we saw each other and it was like sparks,
Yeah.
ooh, fireworks, all the things, and
Hey.
we've been together ever
Ever
since.
since. Ever
Ever since.
since. So
So,
it's I would say that everybody's how they've met or developed their their relationship with their significant other is definitely different. And we wanted
mhm.
to share the way that we were able to connect and bring that to the forefront, so you can kind of see where we how we kind of got
How we
together.
got here.
Yeah,
How we
how we
got
got to
here.
this point. So
Yeah.
so
So
yeah.
it's been a great relationship. We've of course have had ups and downs. We have never broken up. We've never dealt with infidelity or anything like that. But
She did try to kick me out the house,
don't
y'all.
tell that story.
And
But
man,
you didn't leave.
the
Moral of the story, he didn't go.
moral of the story, I'm still here 20 years later.
But we've definitely been through some things.
Yeah.
We life has happened, life is life, and all the things. But we are grateful to be where we are, grateful to be with one another,
I'm
and
grateful to
to
be
have
with y'all too.
our family and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really about it for now. We're gonna leave y'all with our relationship tip or advice of the week.
It's the letter.
Yeah, the let out. So where we went to school, and after everybody would leave the club, we would call it the let out. I don't know if that's like a universal
It should
American
be. I
term.
think that's a universal term.
I don't
I
think it
think
is. I don't
everybody
think
know
it
what
is.
the let out
I don't
is.
think it is. But the let out was basically like everybody would just kind of hang out after the club, either in the parking lot or they would like another gas station or something. Everybody
If
would just
you
kind
didn't
of
e-
hang out
if you didn't
or the
go to
wall or the wall.
club, you ain't go to the club that night,
You can
you
go
can
to the
go
let
to the
out.
let out,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying, and pick you up one or two or three, depending on
Okay.
you know what I'm saying. So
So, our let out conversation is relationship advice and tips for the week. And what's our tip for the week, honey?
is be spontaneous.
Be spontaneous.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like having that sense of surprise, and just doing things out of the ordinary,
hmm
to keep the level of excitement, the excitement of being with one another, the excitement that you first had when you first met that individual, the anxiety that she was referring to when we tried to get back together, you know what I'm saying, like,
We tried to get back
I
together.
mean, well, when we connected back together when you were gone over the summer, you know
hmm
what I mean? Like when you're spontaneous in it, it's just it keeps that fire going. It keeps your significant other, just happy to be connected and be a part of y'all relationship with one another. So, you
True
know,
that, true that. And we were spontaneous, or I was more spontaneous this week, and he was going out with some friends yesterday and his brother, and he was trying to leave at a certain time, and I was like, I need a little bit of your time before you go, because I know once you come back, you gonna be tired, whatever. So
which I wasn't.
you wouldn't, but that's okay. We'd already done. We just went on in that good room, closed and locked the door. The kids was out here doing their thing, and had our moment.
Spontaneity.
Had our moment before he went out, and yeah, it was all good. It was all good. So yeah, be spontaneous. Get out of the mundane life. Again, we didn't make it this far by doing the same thing over and
Over and
over and
over and
over
over
and over
again. Yeah.
again. We like to switch it up and change it up.
And you know what? And last point that I wanted to make is you are in a relationship with your significant other, and if you're gonna be in this thing for the long haul, like you don't want to be bored doing this. Like you want to have fun, you want to enjoy life together. So doing things that don't keep the same, you know mundane things keeps that fire burning. And I implore you, if that's something that it doesn't mean you got to go out and spend all this exorbitant amount of money or
Mm-mm.
whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Just, hey, come in, fellas. Go to Publix if you're from the South or whatever. Come in with a thing of dog, a 6 pack of cupcakes. Boom. That's spontaneity. You know what I'm saying? Just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, here goes some
Hey,
cupcakes, baby.
if
Boom.
if she likes cupcakes, well, like it's something that she likes, something that she enjoys,
Right.
something that he likes, something that he enjoys. Switch it up and
Yeah.
surprise them every now and again. Don't let them
Correct.
ever know your next move. You know what I'm saying? So,
Ooh. Hey, we appreciate y'all hanging out and rocking out with us. We wanna bring these to you every week. Different topics, different conversation. And just chit chat with y'all, chit chat with everybody, and have a good old time. Why not? Everybody got podcasts, so
why not join,
why
right?
not join? You know what I mean? So yeah, we having fun with this thing.
Yeah. So thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for being here, listening, and inviting us into your ears, into your video screens, and all the things. I'm so glad to have you here again. I am Lenora. This is my husband, Michael, Mikey, Mike, all the names that you want
You're
to
supposed
call
to say the
him.
AK and the
Oh, I'm sorry. You could
BKs.
do all that. But yeah, so thank y'all for joining us on this very first episode. We will see y'all next
See you
time.
next
Bye.
time. Deuces.